I wanted to discuss the sun and sunscreen, which I
Yes.
know is controversial. I don't wear sunscreen, and anytime I do an interview, I get a lot of shit when I admit that I don't. So talk to me about the health benefits of the sun and why we maybe don't need sunscreen.
Totally. It's a very controversial topic, which is so funny because
I
it's the
know.
sun. Like
I
we've
know.
literally spent our whole existence as humans under the sun all day
I know.
until the last 100 years or so. And now we're
Mhm.
shut-ins, spend 93% of our lives indoors. That's really bad for a lot of reasons. The sun is life-giving and nourishing. However, we are living quite an inflammatory lifestyle.
Mhm.
And that makes it really hard. Remember, I was talking about everybody has high levels of oxidative stress and inflammation. So when you're internally inflamed, the sun can kind of aggravate that, and you don't have the antioxidants. You don't have the reservoir of antioxidants to combat that potential for oxidative stress, right? So
Okay.
if you live an anti-inflammatory lifestyle, you take a lot of antioxidant supplementation, and you work up your base coat in the sun, you can start to tolerate the sun instead of burning, right? So it's not saying just go from 0 to 100 and spend 5 hours in the sun.
Right.
Like every spring, I start with 5 minutes in the sun, work up to 10
okay.
minutes, 15, and then I build that. And by the end of summer, I'm in the sun for the whole day without any sunscreen or anything like that.
Amazing.
Yeah. Astaxanthin is the antioxidant that is specific to the skin, and that can help. It's like an internal sunscreen.
Cool.
Yeah.
And coconut oil too, right? Can you use that as sunscreen?
Oh, I don't know, actually. I
I've
suppose you
heard
can.
that.
I don't do that personally. You could definitely consume coconut oil because it's very anti-inflammatory in that way.
Okay, yeah. And then I actually saw recently you said that for sunspots on your face, you can use glutathione directly on it, which I thought was such a great tip.
Yeah.
I love that. So just any kind of glutathione that you take, you can also put on your face.
Yeah, I prescribe liposomal glutathione, which is a liquid in liposomal form. It's better absorbed. So taking it internally and then applying it topically as well.
Okay, cool. I'm going to try that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about EMFs. And
yeah.
unfortunately, I feel like a lot of people still don't even know what they are, what that stands for. So what are they? Where are they coming from? And what's the damage that they're doing to us?
Well, now they're everywhere.
I know.
Electromagnetic, yeah, right? So cell towers, cell phones, computers, microphones, lights,
everything.
electricity. Yeah, it's all around us. And that's another controversial topic,
It
right?
is,
Yeah.
yeah.
Some people, that's if you think that, you probably wear tinfoil hats to. It's funny.
know.
I was literally looking at hats last night that block EMF online.
I would buy those.
Yeah.
I would buy them.
And I was like, oh, this is the modern day tinfoil hat. But it's a very real thing, and it can exacerbate a lot of people who have weakened immunity. I work with a lot of mold and mycotoxin patients, and they're very sensitive to EMFs. They can't even hold a cell phone in their hand.
You know what? It's crazy. If I'm on my phone more than usual, my whole arm kind of gets a little tingly.
Me too.
It freaks me out.
Yeah. I can feel it. If you're a sensitive person, you can feel that effect. And I'll put it down and be like, okay,
Yeah,
need to
it freaks
take a
me
break.
out.
Yeah.
I have them. I've got 2 stickers on my computer.
Yeah.
I'll show you what I carry with me at all times too. It's easy to get wrapped up in this stuff, and then all of a sudden you're living your whole life by it. But I have this Blue Shield
Nice.
portable EMF blocker. And I've had to learn to let go a little bit, because otherwise you're I find that I'm just driving myself crazy, becoming obsessed with it.
Yeah.
But I do think it's important. I've got EMF blockers all over my house. I got my kids the watches. I put them in their backpacks. I'm a huge believer that we should be doing everything that we can to combat this stuff.
Yeah.
Another place I learned that has really high EMFs is the Bluetooth headphones.
Oh, yeah.
Why are those so high, and why is that so dangerous?
Well, it's just emitting a stronger frequency to do what it's trying to do. So I do all of my appointments online, and I use these headphones, and I have them hardwired, so that decreases it. At home, you can hardwire your Wi-Fi, or at least turn it off at night. You don't need it on when you're sleeping.
Yeah.
And then there's so much more you can do for your home. You can get these canopies that drape over your bed and block all the
cool.
EMF. You can paint your walls with this EMF blocking
I've
paint.
seen that.
Yeah.
Trust me, I've thought about it.
Yeah. So there's a lot you can do there. Some people are more sensitive than others, and if you're somebody who is sensitive, they're worth doing.
Okay. And it's damaging you at a cellular level.
Yeah.
Right? So even if you don't see it or have symptoms, it still is probably affecting you.
Yeah, the thing is, in this day and age, it's not really one thing. It's the accumulation of hundreds or thousands of things. So if you talk to somebody who's a skeptic, they'll be like, what's the big deal about a little EMF? What's the big deal about a little chlorine, a little fluoride, a little this, a little that? It's not the one thing in small amounts. It's many, many, many things that add up. And you have to do everything you can in your power and control to mitigate what you can.
Right. Okay, exactly. I love really tangible small tips. And one that you gave me, which I love, is when you're pumping your gas to sit inside of your car. So why did you tell me to do that?
There's a compound we test for, MTBE, that is an additive to gasoline. And it came up a little high, I think, in your test.
Yeah,
and it comes up high in many people's tests, especially those who've lived in cities. It accumulates in your tissues. So it's one small thing, like you said, but like it's all these small things adding up that make a difference. So rather than putting the nozzle in your car and standing there smelling the fumes, and I know a lot of people like the smell of gasoline.
I like the smell of it.
I kind of do too. It makes me think of like being on the lake or something. But then you're breathing that in, right? And so why not sit in your car and it's a little less exposure there.